Hiya, my name is Will Kirby. I head up all things Block and Estate Management. Today I've got with me my colleague Tommy Lambourne, one of our directors, and we're going to be talking all things property management across the residential world.
Great. Shall I get straight into it?
Kick off, Tom.
Right. How has flexible working affected the market?
How has it affected it? Well, pre-COVID, I never even heard about it.
No.
Never heard of
We-
it. And you
we didn't
know what it
either.
was. Now it's in every conversation I have.
Yeah.
So there's in terms of employers, I think they want more of a return to work because there's less benefit for them having so many employees working from home because obviously there's that minority that aren't actually working.
Yeah.
But I'd say 100% of candidates out there, they would all prefer to have it.
But surely with the tech now and all the systems and the online cloud stuff, like there's no way that people can hide working from home. Surely not.
Yeah, I'd say so, but I think it also comes into training, doesn't it? You've got younger professionals coming in that need to learn via osmosis. I mean, if you think about the two of us,
Yeah.
we learn a lot by being sat next to Andrew and
Yeah, of
senior
course.
people, and you just hear what they're saying, questions they're asking, and that in itself is training.
No, I do get that, and I think that is something that is quite an important part. I do think, again, it's similar in the AST world, where literally flexible working is one of the main things. What we have, as some clients have gone back to 5 days a week, you're almost, unless you're paying a bomb,
You're not hiring, yeah.
You're just not hiring, right? And I think there is an element of that. The bits that I do think we miss out on, and I'm quite passionate about this, is returning parents. I think returning parents coming back to work
I agree.
and not having the flexibility to sometimes do school drop-off, nursery drop-off. That, for me, is where we're losing so much talent across the business.
Yeah, I'm with you.
AST property management, especially the world we're in at the moment, where landlords and keeping landlords is the most important part. I will passionately say this. AST property management is the bedrock of every estate agency business. And if you don't get that right, kiss your multiples goodbye.
Repeat business, landlords.
Yeah, kiss your multiples goodbye. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to have any money. So the biggest change that I have found with the flexible working piece is the money that's kind of gone up. So the money has actually crept up in AST property management, which is good. That's the bit I think has really kind of happened over the last couple of years.
I mean, look, it's definitely here to stay. What I'd like to see happen is, like, I think flexibility, the clue's in the title, like both parties have to be flexible with one another.
I agree.
I deal with lots of people who say, oh no, I need at least 3 days a week from home.
Yeah.
Well, why? I also need to do the school run.
Yeah.
So what about work during that school run? Are you contactable? That's where there's a bit of a problem. I think there's got to be flexibility on both sides.
think
and
it's a school
the
runs.
job has to come first.
Yeah, I get that. I do think there is an element for parents that, look, we can agree to disagree on these things, right? But I think when you're a
People
parent...
handled it before COVID, right?
That is true. But again, I think the world is slightly changing at the moment, so I do think there is an element of it. But again, you sound like a client, sound like I'm pitching to you and trying to get...
I mean, all jokes aside, I agree with you that yes, parents, it makes their lives far easier.
Yeah.
I'm completely on board with it. But for me, it's like the job has to get done.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Flexible hours, 100% all for it. That can work for parents.
Yeah, and
the
as long
job
as-
needs to be done.
As long as stuff's preset, and I don't think there's too much of a problem. In your world, what job opportunities are the most desirable?
In the block and estate management world, anything development focused.
Yeah.
So new builds coming out the ground, people really enjoy. I mean, it's more project work, right? Because a lot of block and estate managers, they're managing the same buildings or building year in, year out, same service charge, so on and so forth, same leaseholders. Whereas new builds coming out the ground, it's a project. They're creating. And I suppose that also leads into, you get a lot of people from managing agents all wanting to go and work client side, so working for developers. Because then what they get to do is they get to oversee the managing agent.
Yeah.
So they get to oversee the property management as opposed to do it.
Okay.
Now, there's variables to that, of course.
Yeah.
But funny enough, with that said, feeding back into the last question around flexibility, the developers are less flexible because they're construction-led. You can't construct from home. So if construction are in, management are in.
You're in the office, yeah.
So people say, oh yeah, I want to work for a developer. All right, well, you're going to be in 5 days a week if you work for Bartley Group. Oh no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I said, oh right, there you go then.
There you go. So the candidate pool gets slightly smaller, right?
What about AST?
Yeah, it's a funny one because I think most desirable, I think, is when you get up and potentially being a head of property management, right? And you can tend to be managing people, but equally then you're looking after the VIP clients. VIP clients are usually ones that are multiple landlords or people that actually are in the higher end properties.
Sort of prime space.
Prime space. But again, as probably know, they're more demanding, right? So then there's an element of that, and there's a trade-off. So I think looking at some of the most beautiful homes across London, the UK, is great, but equally the pressures of that is kind of vast. So there's a bit of a trade-off on that. So I think there's a real kind of variable on it. What challenges do you see across block and estate management in the next couple of years?
I mean, the list is endless. Obviously, Building Safety Act has been since 2022. That legislation came out. It's still not clear. Lots of people are struggling with it. It's a cost to developers. It's a cost to agents. That's sort of the key challenge the industry itself has. I'd say going on from that on the recruitment side of things, wage inflation has played a huge part. When I first started doing this 9 years ago, to hire a block manager at 35 grand. I placed him at 70 grand over the last year.
Wow.
Estate managers based on site, paid via the service charge, they earn more than the people they report into. There's a job very recently for managing one building, 110 grand. I won't mention the building, but 110 grand.
Wow.
So the numbers are really, really high. Therefore, the managing agent in particular, their profit margin is slipping because they're not charging higher fees, but wage inflation is going up. And that also leads into the fact that the industry is not as good as it used to be about bringing in new talent. If they were to do that, they'd then keep wage inflation or cost of wages down.
Yeah, they go kind of
as opposed to you hire from your competitors all the time. Well, guess what? People aren't moving for the same or less.
Yeah.
So it's those businesses that are actually contributing to the wage inflation that they are so upset about.
Yeah, that's probably my next question, because when you've just said 110 grand people, and you're like, well, entry level, sure, that's a job that you'd kind of want to get into. So what's that like, opportunity wise, people getting
that's
in?
when you get right to the top, right to the
Obviously.
super prime, where the service charge is sky high, and you need 6-star hotel level of service.
Yeah.
So that's an extreme.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for managing one building, the market averages, I think I put in the salary report, is probably around 75 grand.
Yeah, nice.
So it's not a bad number.
It's not bad. So entry level, so how would you get into the industry? What opportunities is it at entry level at the moment?
Very few. I mean, we don't get called about them. I think sometimes when I come across people, I sort of tell them who to apply to. So the bigger firms historically have been very good at it. One in particular, who no longer has an office, got rid of their office after COVID.
Okay.
Therefore, they don't do it as much anymore. Because they can't, because people are working from home 5 days a week. They don't see their new employees. They can't coach. I think for me, the answer to it is, if you can have somebody internally who is responsible for training and development, whether that be the head of block management that doesn't manage a portfolio, whether that be somebody who's actually dedicated to training, whatever it might be. If you've got a dedicated training program where you can start hiring, I don't know, grads or whoever it might be, any walk of life. You look at the property managers out there, they come from all sorts of backgrounds. Hire them in and put them through a training program, set them up to succeed, as opposed to here's a seat, sink or swim, follow what that guy does. I think there would be more success.
But it's such an interesting industry, your one. I do think there's so many variables to it. So I do think that getting talent into it, and especially when you're talking about wage inflation, surely that's got to be an angle that people kind of look at.
Yeah, but they're busy, right? They've got buildings that need managing. And if a member of staff leaves, 3-month notice period now, well, they're already serving the notice period. You've got a month of time to hire, then that person's got to serve a 3-month notice period. So you've lost a month. They need somebody in, and they need somebody who can come in and hit the ground running. There's a portfolio that brings in a certain amount of revenue that needs servicing by a pro. If a pro's left, and then you're to turn around to 8 of your clients and say, by the way, you've got this trainee, are they going to keep the agent on?
Again, it's a similar blend, right? So it's like if you're talking about a football team, you have the experienced players and you have the youth team, the juniors coming through, right? If you've got a blend of it, then surely it'll kind of make sense.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in my opinion, the way to do it is the way they used to do it. You bring in assistant property managers who work with a pro, and then they see what that person does. And when they get up to the level, you can say, right, we've got 2 new sites here, or 2 legacy sites there. There you go, manage them, and then build them up. Yeah. But I mean, at AST, you see a lot of that in that space as well, don't you? Yeah. People poaching from their competitors.
Yeah, of course you do. The good ones stay in it, but sometimes it's got a lifespan, right? Because it's a really tough job. Like you're getting, mostly, let's be clear, you're getting shouted at a lot of the time, right, in property management. And I think that's the challenge of it. So when you've got a good one, look after them. I think that's the way of the game. But people coming into the industry, the salaries are a lot higher now than what they used to be, and there is a genuine career path where you can get a bit of money quite quickly. It's just whether you can have the resilience to continue in the industry. So no, but it's a good world to kind of work in. As I said to you, it's a passion of mine to make sure that people look after their property managers as much as possible.
Just out of interest, what's the progression path in AST property management, and what are the sort of salary
It really kind of varies. Like again, it's anything from kind of 28 to 35, then it's like 35 to 45, and then we're going on to like 50 to 60 plus. Again, you mentioned about 110. We've placed people recently just under 90k. So there is a genuine career path for people kind of moving forward.
You need to find that niche in the market where
it's very much a niche, but equally, as I said to you, if I was an estate agency and I had a really good lettings business, I would want to make sure my property management team is the best in the business.
Yeah.
I really would. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Will. Enjoyed that.
Good chatting as always.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, pal.
Thank you.